Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the next edition of the Losers Lounge podcast. It's been like 2 months since we've last done this, folks. We apologize. It's just, well, let's be honest. Hardly any events going around. Yes, there was NXT Deadline. We didn't do one for that. We also didn't do one for AEW World's End. A lot of that had to do with the fact that it was around the holiday times. We spent time with family, doing other things, very important stuff, and throughout December and the first parts of January, I've been severely ill, if you've been following my social media. So that also adds into that. I'm doing okay now. I'm still pretty sick, but the good thing is we have answers to whatever that was. I'll just quickly brief you guys up. I was hospitalized over the course for a moment in December. I had no idea what was going on. I was taking so many tests and antibiotics and so much other shit. I even have an inhaler now. I use an inhaler now. I'm not asthmatic. I don't have asthma, but I use an inhaler now because I've been dealing with some breathing problems at times. Turns out I had some really bad bronchial spasms. However, the doctors say it's unknown. They don't know what kind of bronchial spasms it is, but I'm just taking things day by day. This could last for a couple of months, but I'm doing good now. But there may be times where I have to take a moment and breathe when I'm talking. So bear with me on that. In the meantime, nothing can stop the excitement, which is the WWE Royal Rumble. Happens every single January since 1988. Favorite thing to talk about. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the Losers Lounge podcast, along with me, as always, in 2024, none other than Heel Balor.
Yeah. 2024, what's up? How we doing? The heelest of Balors. And this is like, the third time I've said that this week. No jokes. I've been doing my own shtick on YouTube. Great to be back on the podcast, the first one of 2024. You know, Christian, it's my favorite time of year outside of Christmas. You know what that time is?
What time is that?
Rumble season. Rumble season. Everybody loves Rumble season. It's amazing.
Yes. I just want to take...
Basically, a woman fuzzy inside.
Yep. And ladies and gentlemen, I just want to take this moment to also say that Heel Balor is using a different kind of microphone, so if you have trouble understanding his S noises, that's the reason why. I mean, you could just assume he's under a dental plan, or he just turned into Mike Tyson for the night, but you know what? It works.
Oh, it does.
Yep. He's just going to kick my ass for saying that now. Hey, say barbecue sauce. No? Okay. In the meantime, no. We have two guests with us, two very familiar guests. First off, please welcome our good friend, Dustin.
Royal Rumble season. How's everybody doing today? My favorite time of the year, obviously besides Christmas. I think Rumble's going to be a really good show, and I'm glad to be back on the podcast for the first podcast of the year.
Yep,
Thanks for having me.
I'll even ask that question, Dustin. How was your Christmas?
Oh, freaking good. Funny enough, I got the brand new PS5 for Christmas, so I'm pretty much upgraded.
All right, then. There you go. Yo, Balor, forgot to ask you, how was your Christmas?
How was my Christmas? It was pretty good. I got me a Krispy Kreme card. I got me a few good things. I got me a WWE encyclopedia book that's as big as my WWE championship, which is legit insane. Oh, and one more important thing. I'm going to SmackDown next week.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Birmingham, Alabama is hosting Friday Night SmackDown right after the Royal Rumble.
I am very excited and very pleasured and honored to be there. So I'm very excited.
There you go. And now, ladies and gentlemen,
if you don't mind, Christian.
All right.
If you don't mind, Christian. I also the SmackDown after Mania is in Detroit. I'm thinking about going, but who knows?
Oh, SmackDown in Detroit. That's awfully close.
Yes, sir.
Hell yeah.
No, I'm not going, by the way. I got my own shit going on, but however, before I continue on, folks, we also have another guest. I don't want to forget about him. He's an optimistic Hall of Famer, and he is known as Steep.
What is up, everybody? Mania season is officially underway. We're on the road to WrestleMania, kicking off with the Rumble. It's going down. I'm pleasure and honor to be back on the greatest podcast in the universe.
Universe. You love that. There's an unknown alien force from another planet that hosts their own podcast. They ain't better than us.
Yeah, we kicked them.
No, they ain't.
Steve, how was your Christmas?
Well, unfortunately, I also did get ill during Christmas. I caught Forbidden C word, but other than that, it was really good. I didn't ask for much. I got the UFC 5 game, which is all I really wanted. So, yeah.
You do realize the forbidden C word actually refers to never mind. But regardless, I hope you at least enjoyed what you could during your holiday.
Thanks.
Yep. As we all know, Royal Rumble is always a fun thing to talk about. This year's edition is, I believe, this is the 37th. Yep, the 37th annual Royal Rumble event. Closing in for the road to WrestleMania 40. Oh my god, WrestleMania 40. 40, can you guys believe that? 40 years of WrestleMania.
Not really. Just wait till we get to WrestleMania 100.
WrestleMania 100, let's see. Oh my god, in another 60 years from now. Willie, will you and I be lucky to be alive? We'll be like, I don't know, 87, 88.
Yeah.
I'd be 82 by then.
Good Lord.
I will likely to have been dead for 20 years.
Yeah. Hey, we still be doing this.
We might still be doing a podcast in our 80s. Yeah. Oh my god, that'd be wild. Could you
Don't
imagine?
put it past us, folks. I'd be down for that.
I guess so. This year's edition, ladies and gentlemen, this is a very interesting thing that I taglined it. Because the Royal Rumble is going to be in St. Petersburg, Florida, right outside of Tampa Bay. At Tropicana Field, home of the Tampa Bay Rays. Interesting thing to note about this. This is actually the second time this stadium is hosting the Royal Rumble. But I quoted it as, for the second time, for the first time ever. Willie, can you understand what that means?
Oh, yes, of course. First time, obviously, was in 2021. Edge won that Rumble, and Bianca Belair won that Rumble. We also had Goldberg versus Drew McIntyre, the fun things on that show. It was also held in the WWE Thunderdome back in 2021. And, of course, this time, around that time, there were no fans in attendance, except on the screens, obviously. And now here we are, many years later, going back, live fans, first time ever. 50,000 are expected to be in that stadium. All right, pretty good. There you go. There's your rundown.
Yep. Second time for the first time ever, because for the first time ever, fans will be present in this edition of the Royal Rumble at Tropicana Field. It's the perfect tagline for it. Tropicana Field hosted the WWE Thunderdome, as Willie said, since December of 2020 up until April of 2021. And I won't lie, when I first heard about it, I was like, okay, so they're moving out of the Amway Center because the Magic needs to get the arena back from Amway Center to begin basketball season. But I was like, oh, it's going to be hosted at Tropicana Field. That's a baseball stadium. Are they going to have, like, I was honestly thinking they would have the Thunderdome built for the whole damn stadium. So there's, like, screens on the 40 to 50,000 seats in attendance. Could you imagine if that happened?
They should have done that, honestly.
Yeah. People were expecting maybe some fans to go for that Royal Rumble, but that never didn't end up happening. And it's okay that it didn't, though, because it was still a good show. I remember looking back on it.
Pretty good.
Yep. And, however, a lot of people have, I won't lie, once it first came up, the shock of nobody, some people have complained. However, it wasn't about WWE just constantly going back to Florida. The reason they complained is because they were like, Tropicana Field is outdated and a little ugly. And I won't lie, I looked at some video on it, and I was like, oh my god. It looks pretty dirty. Have you guys seen that?
Mm-hmm. So I'm a big stadium person, and I like going through different stadiums and looking how they look like. Seeing Tropicana Field when they were first doing it in 2021, I got the impression, I was like, dang, the stadium just looks decrepit, old, torn down. And not gonna lie, it kind of is like that. I guess with lots of tender love and care, it could be fixed up. This is like, WWE's like, what? Fourth time in the football. How many times?
Baseball stadium, not football.
Baseball stadium, yeah.
This is the fourth time technically, but in 3 different baseball fields, because they previously did Chase Field in Phoenix and Minute Maid Park in Houston.
Yes, sir.
But the one thing I want to put out here is, like, it's just like the inside. I look at the videos, even just during a regular Rays game. I look at the roof and I'm like, it looks like the inside of a beige tent, and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, it looks like it's gonna collapse.
Something like that. Steve, Dustin, have you guys seen those like videos of what the inside of Tropicana Field looks like?
I've seen a few photos of it. It's not the most prettiest looking stadium.
Yeah, it's not the greatest looking stadium, but they do with what they can.
Yeah, I mean, if it works, then it works. And after all, Tropicana Field did host the Thunderdome. They did a good job, so I'm guessing this is WWE saying thank you as a result of all that. And it was a good thing that the place offered
Yeah.
offered their services. They were able to rent it out for it. And honestly, it should be good because this is actually crazy to think. Can you guys believe that this entire road to WrestleMania, all premium live events from the main roster are in big giant stadiums, including Elimination Chamber, which we'll be talking about next month in Perth, Australia.
Yes, sir.
You know what would be awesome? What if the Losers Lounge podcast actually became the new pre-show panel? Thus, we're always on the road with every pay-per-view.
Oh, I mean, that'd be great. We'd earning a lot of money.
Yeah.
And entertaining a lot of people.
That would mean we're going to Australia.
I welcome it.
I'd welcome it too. Okay. So for this Royal Rumble, we have 4 matches on the... Wow, only 4. So this is going to be a short podcast. I'm just kidding. There's a lot to talk about for all the matches, and that's the best part about it. Because some people would think that 4 matches isn't enough, but I'm like, well, for one thing, 2 of them are Royal Rumble matches. They're likely going over an hour each, so that's already over 2 hours taken. The Universal Championship main event is likely going to be over 30 minutes in length, and that's not counting Roman Reigns constantly, taking so much time walking to the ring, because, long ramp, big stadium. Then, of course, there's the United States Champion. There's the United States Championship match between Logan Paul and Kevin Owens, which, by the way, folks, that's where we're going to start off with. We're going to talk the United States Championship match. Logan Paul, the champion, defending against Kevin Owens. And like I was saying, there was a tournament that was put in place to determine Logan Paul's first title defense. Yeah, I know, first title defense since he won it at Crown Jewel at the start of November, 3 months ago, almost 3 months ago. But I just want to say, when it comes to the likes of Logan Paul, yes, I get it. He's a part-time champ. They've been doing this even with Triple H in control of the helm. But despite that, I'm like, Logan Paul, with the presence that he has on his social media and the things he does, he takes the U.S. title with him everywhere he goes, and he promotes it everywhere he goes. So that's actually good business. So he's not just sitting around doing nothing and he's just absent for an unknown amount of time. No, he's done promotions, done interviews, done travel, but everything he does, everywhere he goes, U.S. titles with him, even if it means taking a shower with it. Not the craziest thing somebody's done with a title. You've seen Shawn Michaels photos back from the day. Oh, those were the days. Kevin Owens won a tournament to become the #1 contender to the United States Championship. And to get there, of course, well, it's like Kevin Owens went through Austin Theory, Carmelo Hayes, and Santos Escobar. Santos Escobar, of course, had to go through Dragon Lee and Bobby Lashley. Other participants included, of course, Karrion Kross and Grayson Waller. But I like the idea that, you got this talent going in, especially when you got Carmelo Hayes visiting out from NXT to take part of this tournament. That was also pretty cool. But I like the story here. The story here, Logan Paul was stunned by Kevin Owens at WrestleMania 37 in 2021. And I still look back and I like the way he sold it. That was an amazing stunner. Still better than the time Vince McMahon got stunned by Steve Austin the following year. But still, I gotta say, the whole deal with Logan Paul and Kevin Owens, I like where this is going. I even seen a video where they were actually brawling in the Performance Center. And I'm like, they're doing a really good job at hyping up this match.
Oh, I just saw that just now. Pretty cool.
Yep. So, Willie, I'll actually start with you. What is your thoughts so far on Logan Paul as United States Champion?
So Logan Paul becoming the U.S. champ was pretty cool. It's an accomplishment that a YouTuber succeeded in getting, and I feel like him as U.S. champ has been pretty good. Has he not defended as much? Obviously, not really, because it's the part time, and plus, he's on the road 24/7. They put it on basically because to promote the brand.
Wait, hold up a second. I'm sorry to interrupt, but did you just say he hasn't defended it as much? He hasn't even defended it at all.
That is true. He hasn't defended it, obviously, yet. Until now, obviously. But they gave it to him because, actually, the number one reason they gave it to him is, because, the brand, obviously. Plus, they want to promote him. They want him to promote the U.S. Championship. He takes it to UFC events. He takes it to around the world. He's taking it in his little things with KSI. Promote everything. I think it's a pretty cool accomplishment for him to have. And Kevin Owens is Kevin Owens. He's just great overall. And I'm very excited for the match. The build-up has been pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, the tournament thing was pretty nice. And I can't wait to see what they do in the ring.
Yeah, especially with the whole deal of Kevin Owens and his broken hand.
I completely forgot about that.
That's okay. But that could be a really good factor into this. Alright. So, Steve, what is your thoughts on Logan Paul's reign as U.S. champion so far?
Oh, I absolutely love it. I'm a big Logan fan, going back to his days on Vine and the day he's been acting and now. And one thing about Logan is always in the media because, like, whether people hate him or like him, he's always going to be the talk of the town. So for someone with the mainstream publicity of that, you see this guy who has this large, enormous following, and he's like Hillballa just said, he's going everywhere. He's at basketball games. He's at fighting events. He's walking red carpets. So that title is getting a lot of mainstream attention. And one thing I will say, if I get it, whether you're not a fan of this because, well, the title's not there or you just don't like Logan, just not like Logan, he is bringing that title a lot of justice that it does need. So I personally love it. And even if I wasn't a Logan fan, I will admit the mainstream attention he is getting that title speaks for itself.
All right. And Dustin, what's your thoughts on Logan Paul's reign as U.S. champion?
Yeah, he hasn't defended it at all. Yeah, he's a part-time champion, but I've been enjoying his reign as U.S. champion. He's taking so much care with that belt, and he's taking it everywhere he goes. He's promoting the hell out of it, and I'm just loving it. I can't wait till his first defense against Kevin Owens at the Rumble. It's gonna be so good.
Yeah, with all the praise that we've been giving Logan Paul, people in the comments are definitely going to be questioning whether or not we're actually sponsored with Prime. We're not, folks. We're not.
I wish.
Although
I do drink Prime, it is really good stuff.
Never had it before.
Prime is amazing.
Yeah, depends on what you get. My favorite is the ice pop. Anyway, time for some predictions here. Dustin, I'll start with you. Who is winning the United States Championship match?
I think it's pretty obvious in a way of who's going to win this match. I'm going Logan Paul to retain, and I think he's taking that championship all the way to WrestleMania.
Oh, that's a really good one. I think that's pretty obvious, too. I mean, I remember when he was setting up the face Rey Mysterio, I was like, yeah, if he's winning it, he's taking it all the way to WrestleMania. Knowing how WWE's trying to profit off of him. That works. All right, Steve, who's winning the United States Championship?
I agree with what you guys said. I also got Logan Paul. And frankly, if Logan were to lose it, I wouldn't pick Kevin Owens to do it. I think I would give it to someone who hasn't gotten a turn with the title yet or someone who's coming up from NXT.
Perhaps. Yo, Balor.
Logan Paul, too, on my end as well.
Not much to say about that. We are so sorry, Kevin Owens. You're going to deliver a really good match, but you ain't winning. All right. With that being said, we're going to move on now to the next match. The next match, before we get to the Royal Rumble matches, we got the Universal Championship. The Undisputed Universal Championship is being defended in a fatal four-way match. Oh, my God. Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, AJ Styles, and L.A. Knight. Wow. What a four-way we got for this case. Really interesting to see where we're going to go with this one, because you guys want to hear my opinion about this?
Yes, sir.
I personally think this match should be the main event of the whole night over the Rumble matches.
I agree.
And the reason for that, of course, is because of some very interesting things that happened more recently on day one. I think you guys know what I'm talking about.
That's right, Seth Rollins.
That's right, exactly. Seth Rollins, when he defended against Drew McIntyre. That's in connection to this match.
Oh,
No, we're just kidding. Folks, I'll be perfectly honest. This is a very interesting scenario because there's a lot going on. Got AJ Styles, wants to beat the Bloodline. He's also pissed off at LA Knight for taking his place. You got Randy Orton, who also has issues with the Bloodline, because they took him out for almost 2 damn years. Then you got LA Knight, who was screwed at Crown Jewel by the Bloodline. So everybody has got a quarrel. Then again, everybody always has a quarrel with Roman Reigns. By the way, isn't it a crazy thing? We've been talking about Roman Reigns as Universal Champion since 2020. 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, and now 2024. 5 different years. My God. Did you guys ever think that we'd be alive for this sort of thing? This sort of long title reign?
no. Well, yes, but no.
Well, yes, but no. So, hard to talk sometimes. I need to take some breathing moments, folks, but I will let Heel Balor take over here regarding talk about the Universal title match coming up.
Ah, yes, Roman Reigns is the reason we're even in this predicament right now. So it was a triple threat a few weeks ago on SmackDown, obviously. And here we are, and basically Roman Reigns is put in this situation because of his own stupidity. Fatal 4-way, Nick Aldis announced it, and here we are. AJ Styles, LA Knight, the world champ, of course, and the Viper Randy Orton. Steve, Dustin, join in, boys. Lend your ears. What y'all got?
Does he want to go ahead?
What do I want to do?
Now you go ahead, brother.
Either one.
So, in a perfect world, I would have Randy win. That's just because if a certain someone who most likely will be in that night 2's main event, if, that still is the match, that person and Randy still have more history than, that person would, than they have with Roman. But in an obvious world, and the safe bet would be Roman stacks all 3 of them up and pins them, which is most likely going to be what happens. So, in a fantasy world, I would love for Randy to win, but in an obvious world, I think Roman's retaining.
Whew, all right. I'll take my moment to talk about this.
Go for it.
This is something that I've been, not gonna lie, there are some cases where I'm like, it might be pretty obvious that this guy's winning, but at the same time, I'm like, we don't know what the direction for WrestleMania is, because we've seen numerous different headlines saying, oh, this could be happening, no, that could be happening, now this could be happening. We've seen like 10 or 15 different pathways, and the fact that it's confused the whole world just makes us better. Because let's be perfectly honest here. The one path everybody was hoping things were going to go for, Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes Part 2, and Seth Rollins versus CM Punk. With this whole deal about a lot of other things happening, all of a sudden, we could potentially get Roman Reigns and The Rock. We could potentially get, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes? I don't know what the hell to make of any of that. But the fact that everything's so confusing now, we don't know what the true path is, in my opinion, that just made it more exciting. I'll be honest, I think Triple H did this on purpose. Through everybody, including the journalists off their game, just to think that something's going to happen. Because how many times did we see so many reliable sources saying CM Punk is not returning to WWE?
Yeah.
A lot.
A lot.
A ton of times.
Yep. Then it ended up happening. I would know. I had a meme face. That's still one of the dumbest things I've ever done. But if I had to pick, honestly, yeah, I'm be honest, I'm going with Roman Reigns to retain the title, but I honestly want Randy Orton to win because I like to see Randy Orton face Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. I get the whole finish the story thing, but that doesn't mean it requires Roman Reigns. It requires the WWE Championship. Roman Reigns was not around when Dusty Rhodes failed, and it wasn't a member of the Anoa'i family that stopped Dusty from winning the title either. So, the whole deal.
Exactly.
The WWE Championship doesn't matter where, though. Doesn't have to be at WrestleMania because Dusty Rhodes didn't fight off at WrestleMania. WrestleMania didn't exist yet.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, people are really throwing everything throwing so many eggs into one basket to the point where if that doesn't happen, it's like throwing so many eggs into one basket and that turns out that basket was never chosen to be the winner of the contest. And now they don't get the prize money.
Yeah.
Happens. But I'll be honest, I don't think Roman Reigns is losing the title in anywhere that's not WrestleMania, but he could still lose the championship without being pinned. Randy Orton could pin LA Knight or AJ Styles to win it, or any of the other challengers could pin each other. Or Roman Reigns is just going to stack all three of them and pin them like he did Daniel Bryan and Edge.
Yes.
So, that could happen. I mean, after all, Roman Reigns buried everybody out and sent them to AEW. I mean, what? Just kidding. Not trying to stir the pot, folks. It's okay. I don't know how to cook. Yes, I do. Don't answer that. Okay. Steve, I'll ask you, man, what do you think's happening at the Royal Rumble for the Universal title?
Like I said earlier, in a perfect world, I would want Randy.
Hold a second. It was you who answered the first time?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. I meant to say Dustin. Sorry about that.
Well,
folks.
Yeah, like Steve said, in a perfect world, it would be Randy Orton who would win the match, pinning one of the other two challengers, and that's who I'm actually going with. I'm going Randy Orton to win the title by pinning either LA Knight or AJ Styles. That I'm going ballsy with this prediction.
I mean, it's okay to go ballsy with a prediction because we've reached the area where it's possible now, especially if The Rock is going to take on Roman Reigns. What if there's no championship involved? What if the Bloodline tries to interfere and then The Rock is the reason why Roman loses his title?
Anything's possible.
That's another reason why I think it should be the main event. If this match ends up being the main event of the show, then probably expect something massive to happen. Like last year, when Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens were the main event over both the Rumble matches, we were like, if they're main eventing over both the Rumble matches, something big's happening. That big thing was Sami Zayn with the chair shot that was heard around the world, followed by Jey Uso walking out of the Bloodline. I remember that. We shocked the hell out of all of us. Because we're like, if the chair shot was, we knew it was coming. The walkout from Jey, we didn't know was coming. So that was really good. So, Yo Ballard, you said Roman Reigns. Steve, you're also saying Roman Reigns. I'm also saying Roman Reigns. And Dustin is taking a risk and saying Randy Orton. What if Dustin ends up winning? We owe him money.
I do have money, but I'm not game winning.
You guys don't need to give me money. I already got too much of it as it is.
So he gets it.
Wow. All right, then. Who's ready to rumble?
You know it.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Let's go!
Yeet.
No yeet.
I didn't say yeah, eat. I said yeet.
No yeet.
Wow. Okay.
So, we're going to start things off with the 30-woman Royal Rumble match. Very interesting thing to point out. How crazy is it that we only know 4 confirmed entrants? Bayley, Nia Jax, Becky Lynch, and Bianca Belair are, I guess they're the only competitors in the Women's Royal Rumble match. So that's it, folks. That's just those 4.
That be the short Rumble history?
It looks like, yeah, it looks like we already got our final 4 because it's the only 4.
Who will win? I guess Becky would win for Bayley.
But this is what people have been asking for, and I'll be honest, I've never had a problem with this. But less people have been confirmed by the Rumble come Rumble time. So, everybody's probably excited about that. I personally didn't care, but it is what it is.
I personally don't like that because sometimes it just wouldn't say the element of surprise, but it just kind of just lessens like the factor of like, well, who's going to show up? The whole point of the Royal Rumble is like, who's going to show up? I understand announcing people in advance, which is fine. But when they did this in 2022, I believe they announced almost the entire field that year. And then they didn't do much last year, but it was in 2022. I was like, okay, this is stupid. I understand they've been and announced people since the very beginning, obviously. I understand that. But when you announce almost the entire field,
and that's not cool enough. Yeah, not just the entire field. They also announced the returning legends well in advance.
Exactly.
Including Mickie James as TNA Women's Champion.
You know how much of a pop that would have gotten if they never announced it? I mean, I'm not saying that was bad. I still popped.
Yeah, but if they never announced that and Mickie James showed up with that championship and everybody been like, wait, what?
Exactly.
That would have been the biggest what the fuck moment.
Exactly.
But I guess they just didn't want to take away from the fact that they were hiding Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, I kind of predicted Ronda was showing up, but there you go.
I didn't. That worked out. Okay. For this case, as we know, Bayley, Nia Jax, Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, those are the only ones confirmed, but let's be honest, I think almost every main roster female is going to be in it, so duh.
Oh, obviously. Hopefully NXT, too. Jeez.
Yeah, I see that happening, too. However, if you look at the main roster for the women, they have almost enough to actually fill a Rumble match, so we don't have to rely too much on surprise entrants, returning legends, and NXT wrestlers. So I'm like, yeah, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. 2018, it was understandable. But in later years, it became to the point where, like, okay, now we're just doing this a little too much here. Can we please slow it down here? Because, like, you know, it's gotten to the point where, like, okay, now we're expecting a big surprise literally every 2 entrants. Or in the 2022 Royal Rumble's case, this is actually a fun fact. When it comes to the Royal Rumble, in 2022, the one where they got announced all the additional legends and everything, when it comes to the Women's Royal Rumble, literally, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 entrants in a row were surprise returning legends or NXT people. Actually, there was no NXT people in this one. But think about that for a while. Because looking back on it, there was hardly any female on the main roster to the point where it's like, they couldn't even fill half a Rumble. But of course, well, that's changed nowadays, which is a good thing.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Because if there was just constant surprises, it will get to the point where even that's getting old. And you don't want the element of surprise to get old.
Exactly.
That's why, in my opinion, the maximum surprise entrance should be 3, not 10. Thank you. When I say 10, I'm not referencing Ty Dillinger. Anyway. I have a very interesting prediction on something. I guarantee you guys agree with that.
Yeah.
The Women's Royal Rumble match is going to show us the debut of Jade Cargill.
Oh, obviously. Anyone with the brain can figure that out.
Yeah.
Or maybe it won't.
Yep.
Maybe she won't show up. I'm kidding. She's showing up.
Yeah. However, I do like what they've been doing to the fact that, you know, they want to make sure Jade Cargill is trained to the WWE standard. I'm like, that's what you do if you're bringing someone in from like AEW or somewhere else who's never been to the WWE. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Heel Battle, I'll get started with you. What I'm going to do is ask you, what's your thoughts overall on the build to the Women's Rumble? Who do you think will be surprise entrants? And I'll even give you 4 picks to win the Rumble.
Well, that's the first. All right. My thoughts on the build-up for the Royal Rumble so far for the women. I think it's been a very, very good build. Let's start with Becky Lynch. Her losing the Nia Jax 2 weeks ago. Her comeback story redemption. There you go. You got that. Bayley with damage control and stuff like that. Nia Jax, who was just dominating, stuff like that. You have the impending debut of Jade Cargill. You have so many other factors going in this Royal Rumble. You have Rhea Ripley waiting in the wings for whoever wins that Rumble. I like it. I've been enjoying it. It's very good. Who's going to win? Who's going to lose? Who's going to be the surprises? Now, second thing. Who I think is going to be showing up? Well, I'm not really going to predict who I think will show up like surprises because I don't want to get anything wrong or anything like that. But if I were to throw out, guess here we go. First of all, who I'd like to show up, I'd like to see maybe an AJ Lee. Some people are throwing that out, AJ Lee. People from NXT, like a Tiffany Stratton, a Lyra Valkyria, a Fallon Henley, a Roxanne Perez again, just other people like that. Who do I think? What was the other questions?
Who's gonna be you have 4 picks.
Okay, I'll go from person I think is gonna win the least. The person who I think is gonna win. From the least, who I think is going to win the Royal Rumble. Nia Jax, I don't think she's winning at all. She's just there to be a body and just dominate the entire match. And I will put this out here, who I think will be the Iron Woman and the Iron Man of each Royal Rumble. Who I think will be the Iron Woman. of the Royal Rumble, Bianca Belair. That's who I think will be the Iron Woman of the Royal Rumble of the women. The third person I think could come close but not win. It's going to be probably Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair. Now here's the last two, and these two I'm fine with either one winning. First one who I think could win the Rumble, but she's not going to. And I'll be very, I won't be mad at all if she doesn't win, because I don't think she needs it. Personally, I don't think we win the Royal Rumble for the women. My girl, Becky Lynch. And I know people are like, wait, Will, that's your girl. You're right, that is my girl. But I think Becky's done enough, honestly. She won the Royal Rumble in 2019. She won the NXT Women's Championship. She's main evented WrestleMania. She's done everything that needs to be done. Except one thing. Well, yeah, one thing. And that's win the Elimination Chamber. I think Becky Lynch and her story and her, like, doubting herself. Freaking Rhea Ripley, for God's sakes, told her, like, I want you to win the Royal Rumble. I want you to win the Royal Rumble. Becky is doubting herself. Can she do it? Can she not do it? That's the story of Becky Lynch.
And speaking of that situation, you mentioned before, Rhea Ripley said, I'd like you to win the Rumble. Then the following week, I may want to change my WrestleMania plans.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The story of Becky Lynch going into the Royal Rumble is probably my favorite thing going on, and I'm enjoying it. Hand back to do it. Can she do it? I personally don't think she needs the Royal Rumble. I really don't. She had it once. She'd be the first two-time winner of the Royal Rumble, and that'd be great. I'm not going to lie. But I kind of think she goes to Elimination Chamber. I think Becky loses. So, my pick to win the Women's Royal Rumble of 2024, and I know somebody in this call is going to be like, oh, thank God. Love you, Dustin. I'm going to pick his girl, Bayley. Is my pick to win the Women's Royal Rumble.
All right. Really good point on that one.
Pick. There you go.
Matter of fact, Dustin, you're next. I'll start things off by thoughts on the build-up. Who will be showing up, maybe as a surprise, and your 4 picks.
So for the build for the Women's Rumble, I've been enjoying the hell out of the build. Becky's story's great. Nia Jax dominating, everybody's cool. Bianca Belair being there as like a scare factor, in my opinion, that she could win is there. And Bayley, obviously, the whole thing with damage control. And there's so many other possibilities that we have no idea what could happen. Who could show up? Like Hill Balor throw out there, maybe an AJ Lee, maybe some NXT women, maybe obviously Jade Cargill probably will show up. But for my 4 picks, the least likely to win, I'm just throwing her out there because I really want her in the women's world title scene. Shayna Baszler. She's been way overdue for a big push, and I think if she were to somehow win one of these Rumbles, then that would catapult her to superstardom. So that's one of my picks, Shayna Baszler. For my other pick, I would probably go Nia Jax's 3 because she could, as a dominating force, could win the Rumble. She's always a favorite every year. As for the top 2, are pretty much, in my opinion, the 2 main favorites, Becky Lynch and Bayley. My winner is going to be my girl Bayley. I think the whole story with damage control and with her possibly getting kicked out of damage control and possibly feuding with Io Sky at WrestleMania, that would be awesome. So, Becky, I love you, but you don't need the Rumble win. I would personally give it to Bayley.
Ready. You know what? I should go for this my next turn. My case, I think the bill has been good because, like we mentioned, the 4 women who are confirmed for the Royal Rumble have been really the main focus. There's Becky, there's Nia, there's Bianca, there's Bayley. It's kind of like 2 from Raw, 2 from SmackDown are like the top people to look out for. Top biggest threats. And I agree, honestly, with Willie when he said Bianca Belair could definitely be the Iron Woman in this match because she's had a history doing that. She lasted, I believe, one of the longest in 2020 when she set the record at 8 eliminations. And 2021, she entered at number 3 to win it all. And in 2022, She was like before number 10, I think what she was, and she lasted a long ass time. Then last year she wasn't in the Rumble, she was the champion, but it just goes to show she's got a lot of history of lasting long in the Royal Rumble and also domination streaks. So Bianca Belair, I believe, is one of my top picks to win. She's definitely who I think is going to be in the Final Four. But people who I think is going to show up, Jade Cargill, pretty obvious. I'm also thinking, quite possibly, we might get, like, it was probably a shot in the dark. Alexa Bliss, Carmella, coming back from the maternity leaves. Possibly.
Possible.
Yeah, Liv Morgan coming back from her shoulder injury. Assuming, of course, she's taking care of her legal.
Please.
Assuming, of course, she's taking care of her legal situation. But that also is a possibility. Liv Morgan to come in to return from injury, because Royal Rumble has been known for people returning from injuries. I don't think AJ Lee's going to show up. I might say that it ends up happening. Won't be the first time I've been wrong about something. I said before Edge was not coming back in 2020. But I could see Naomi coming back. I heard she's done with TNA. So, might put her as a possibility here. As for people who I think here's my top 4 picks to win. Bianca Belair. I don't think Nia Jax is going to be in the Final Four. Quite possibly, Final Four. Damn, this is tough. I don't think she's winning, but I think Jade Cargill might make it to at least the Final Four.
I forgot my Final Four. I'll do that for the men.
And Final Four, continuing on, yeah, Bayley and Becky. Personally, I'm actually going to go Becky to be the first ever 2-time Royal Rumble winner. I hope Dustin doesn't kick my ass for saying that.
He's totally not saying that because I'm in here, but go on.
Nah, you're good. Nah, you're good, Christian. All good.
That's okay. I've had people attack me just because I had some negative opinions on Liv Morgan, so I was afraid you were one of them. I'm just kidding. No, I wasn't. Anyway, that's about where I got now. Steep, you're last. What is... Well, your thoughts on the build-up, people who you think are going to show up in the Women's Rumble, and your 4 picks.
Oh, I absolutely love the build-up. And the thing about the Rumble season every year, the Royal Rumble itself has a lot of build to it because there's that who's going to show up, who's going to outlast 29 other people, who's going to draw that lucky number that's going to get them to the end. So the hype, that plus the stories going into it, I'm really invested in. And I don't really have, anyone different that everyone else hasn't said, but I am, fingers crossed, hoping for AJ Lee to show up. A few returns, like you mentioned, from people from either injury or paternity leave, and some NXT people to be involved in both Rumbles. As far as the 4 picks that I would rely on, pretty much how everyone else ranked it. The person who I don't see winning at all, Nia Jax. A fave of mine, just to throw her there, Zoe Stark. And it comes down to 2 people for me, which is pretty much the obvious 2, Becky and Bayley. I really do see it being Bayley. And I say that because you see the cracks with Damage Control. And I think on Rumble Day, there's going to be another scene where they're going to get into something again. And everyone is going to pretty much walk off. And there's going to be the shot of Bayley just standing there looking all angry. I think Bayley's going to win the Rumble and go on to beat Io at Mania for the title.
Me personally, if that happens, I think Io should go over. But anything can happen. Here's another question I want to ask each of y'all. And each of y'all can actually unmute your mics for this one so you can answer at the same time with a 1-word response. Here we go. Is Sasha Banks coming back?
Yes.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. Anything can happen in professional wrestling.
Yeah, I think she's in the Rumble.
Anything can happen in professional wrestling.
I don't think she is.
Yes, y'all. So fresh, y'all.
I'm not saying a yes right now, honestly. I know they'll see a Punk thing, anything can happen in professional wrestling. This one here, kind of the same thing. I'll believe when I see it, but potentially, yes.
Understandable. I just figured I'd ask. But I'll also ask a very interesting question. Heel Balor, I'll start with you on this question.
Oh.
What number is going to win the Women's Rumble?
I'm not getting these.
You
Well,
got a 1 in 30 chance of getting it right.
I'm gonna go with number 12. This is my number, and a certain somebody who has a lucky number. I love you, Beast. 27. I think number 27 is going to the Royal Rumble.
All right, Steve, what number's winning the Women's Rumble?
17. I just picked the number that came to my head.
Charlotte Flair once won from 17. That could work. All right, Dustin, who's winning the Women's Rumble? Actually, what number is winning the Women's Rumble?
I am actually going. I think it's going to be number 1. I think back-to-back years, number 1 is going to win, and I think that's going to be Bayley's number.
Oh, wow, that's really good. I think it's going to be 20, number 20. 2/3 of the way through, we found our winner. We each picked different numbers, so one of us might win or none of us will win. If only,
Exactly.
if only there were like myself, Willie, and 28 other guests, including you two, and we each picked different numbers. I'm like, well, one of us is guaranteed to win.
You know how long that would be?
Oh my god. Yeah, that would be the long-ass podcast. Not to mention, I don't know if Skype could hold it.
Skype it up, there's 100 people.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
A 100-person podcast.
I
No,
would
I'm
not be-
kidding. No.
I would not
Hey,
be
we're not
able
doing
to,
100-person podcast.
yeah, I would not be able to handle that. Okay. We're going to move on now to the men's Royal Rumble match. And my opinion, there's quite a lot to talk about for this case. I have some things I want to say regarding a certain somebody in the match, which is why I'm honestly going to go last with this one. That sound good with you guys?
Sounds good to me, because I got a few things to say as well.
All right, then.
I got things to say. Not bad things. No, not bad things. Good things. Mostly.
Maybe.
Things that might piss people off. Anyways.
You know what? Screw it. On second thought, I'm going to start things off.
All right, go. I mean, I'll go second to last. I know Dustin has a lot to say.
We all have a lot
I'll go
to say.
second to last. Yeah.
So before we get to the topic of the Royal Rumble match itself, I want to speak about a certain somebody in the match, and that person is CM Punk.
Oh, boy.
You may want to get some popcorn to this one. I'm not going to freaking rant or yell because I'm not feeling that well, so.
All good. Take all the time you need, brother.
All right.
Got the
As we all
popcorn
know,
already.
CM Punk returned at Survivor Series in Chicago this past November. I was there for it, recorded a funny reaction, because I'll be honest, I thought Jey Uso was going to get the RKO from Randy Orton. I got that instead. That's why I had an absolute priceless reaction, which may be trending on YouTube, which I didn't think would happen. Once again, thank you for that. But
Congratulations, dude.
the thing is, what you guys don't know, and this is actually a story I'm going to tell, is like, right after I turned off my phone, right after I stopped recording, I still had that look on my face. I had that look on my face when I left the arena and went to my car. I was stuck in traffic with people trying to get out, and the whole time I didn't know what to say. I was in total disbelief, and also I didn't know what to think, because on a positive side, I think it's pretty cool for the business that, CM Punk is back. And it's like the ultimate version of, at this point, anything can happen. Because, CM Punk was the biggest example of a guy who is absolutely never coming back. Like, no matter what happens, he's never coming back. I guess now the person who holds that is Dean Ambrose. But, the other thing is, like, it's no secret, I've not been exactly supportive of CM Punk the last year and a half. Ever since All Out 2022, when there was all that shit that went down with the press conference. Willie, you and I were ranting the hell out of that, remember that?
Where are we, brother?
Yeah.
Good times, indeed.
But, and then there's the whole deal with All In that happened in London. And then hearing about that, reading all the reports about that, and then which led to Punk getting terminated, which even despite him being back in WWE, I still think he deserved it. He deserved to get fired. Because he was honestly the guy who's really not acting like an adult. Like Jack Perry, obviously not acting like an adult. But Jack Perry's the kid. Punk's the old veteran here. He should at least know better. And just show, Hey, if people have a problem, laugh it up. Whatever. Then walk it off. Punk didn't do any of that. Got to the point where he got fired. And really, we really did expose Tony Khan, though, as a guy who had lack of leadership. Especially when he feared for his life. Like, what the fuck? I'm not supportive, honestly, of the idea of CM Punk coming back to win the Royal Rumble and the main event WrestleMania, because I don't think he deserves it. I don't believe CM Punk deserves to main event WrestleMania or even win the Royal Rumble match, because honestly, it would just seem more like a fucking apology for what happened 10 years ago. I'm so sorry we fired you on your wedding day. I'm so sorry that Vince treated you like crap. I'm so sorry we didn't have you headline WrestleMania. Here's a WrestleMania main event gift wrapped to you. Forget about everybody else we were pushing here. That's what it honestly feels like to me. It just felt like an insult. I guarantee people are not going to like me saying that, but you know what? I don't give a fuck what people think about me. I don't give a fuck if people don't agree with what I'm saying here. People never agree with what I say anyway, so why change now? The time then he had the promo where he announced himself as a member of Monday Night Raw and talked about what happened the last time he was in Cleveland, which was the place where he walked out. The moment he actually said, like, to anybody who, like, I offended and everything, I apologize. And I honestly thought to myself, at least I thought what was going to happen was, like, if he owned up to that and actually apologized, hopefully maybe for some of the things he caused, because I even agreed that walking out 10 years ago was the wrong thing to do in that case. Like, walking out and quitting, it's not exactly the right thing to do, no matter how you're feeling about it. Take Dean Ambrose, for example. Absolutely despised his place in the WWE, but he just waited till his contract expired. He just continued to perform whatever he needed to do, and then he was out of there. He at least was the perfect example of, this place is treating me like shit, I don't want to fucking be here. Alright, I have until here, I'll just wait it out. I'll just do it. But, of course, there's a lot of other circumstances that led into it. But I remember I was pissed off when it happened, when he walked out. Because, I felt, I don't like when people do that, when people just walk out and quit, when they don't get their way. And a lot of other factors led into that. But I actually, when I heard his apology, it pissed me off. I didn't think it would, but it pissed me off. I was like, I felt like, he didn't deserve any forgiveness. Because he hasn't proven that he can be trusted. Because he came into AEW, that shit fucked up. He fucked out so much shit up over there twice. And I'm like, why should I be supporting him? Why should I be supporting his cause? Why should I support the idea of him winning the Royal Rumble and main event in WrestleMania? It probably is going to happen. That doesn't mean I have to agree with it. I mean, here's another example of something like that. I mean, look at Sting. He's retiring at AEW Revolution. I'm a guy who would prefer him to face Darby Allin, but he prefers apparently to have a tag match with the Young Bucks, and I think that's absolutely fucking stupid. It's what he wants. But that doesn't mean I have to agree with it, and that doesn't mean I have to like it at all. I can respect it, but I don't have to like it. That's not how life works. So I don't think it's right to have CM Punk win the Royal Rumble match after all the shit that went down and be gift wrap a main event of WrestleMania immediately after coming back. Because I don't think he deserves it. I really think that he doesn't deserve any of this shit. I don't even understand what the fuck's going on. Taking advantage of all this shit, it was really pissing me off. That's why I just, as a fan, because here's the thing. People can go ahead and say, well, your opinion means nothing. Apparently, he apologized to the fans, which means the opinions do matter. My opinion is just as valid as yours and anybody else's. I did not accept the apology because I didn't think he deserves it. I'm like, I don't think you can be fucking trusted. It's gonna be it's difficult. It's like trying to trust Jeff Hardy. No offense to him. After all the shit that he does with the law. It's just difficult and almost impossible to. Because you're thinking, what if I trust him now, but then all of a sudden he fucks up again? Same could be said about CM Punk. It's hard to really trust in him and believe that he can tell the difference between business and personal. Just like that promo with Cody Rhodes. That's why I'm like, I don't think CM Punk deserves to be in the place where he's at. I don't think he deserves to win the Royal Rumble match. I don't think he deserves to win the main event of WrestleMania and become World Heavyweight Champion at all. Because he can't be trusted, and he's a selfish motherfucking prick. That's my stake on it. And that's the end of what I had to say about that guy. How was that? Was that at least good, folks? Was that at least good to you guys listening to that?
That's very good. Yes, speak your mind.
Pretty good.
Speak
Speak your
bro.
mind.
Okay. Willie, you said you had some things you wanted to say as well?
Well, I don't really have much to say because the whole thing about CM Punk, honestly, for me, welcome back. Great to see you back, I guess. He's the least of my concern in this entire thing. And I know people are saying, he can win the Rumble, which is fine. There are many people who can win the Rumble. So I'm just going to get straight into the nitty and the gritty, honestly. Same thing. Who do I think is going to win? Who do I think the least who are going to win the Royal Rumble to the one who I think is win the Royal Rumble? Well, first off, let's see. The least person who I think will win the Royal Rumble is going to be maybe Dominic Mysterio. I don't freaking know. Honestly, the field is so stacked with this that I don't think I could even do that and make a list. So we got only 4 picks you can really think of these people. CM Punk, Gunther, Drew McIntyre, and the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes. Out of those 4, any of those guys could win. All right, who do I think is going to win the least? Honestly, I can't do it really. You can't really compare the 3.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing about the men's Royal Rumble is there are so many people who are believable to be winning the match to the point where he should win. With the likes of Cody, likes of Drew, and Gunther. Because oh my God, the fact that we got so many people focused, so many main focuses on here, that really helps the occasion.
Yeah, for real.
There's no obvious guy winning here.
No, it really isn't. Which makes it so much fun with the Rumble. Like last year was pretty predictable with Cody, and I guess Rhea was pretty predictable. The year before that, Ronda Rousey, Brock Lesnar. The year before that, Edge, Bianca Belair. The cycle continues, obviously. Not saying Edge and Bianca was pretty not predictable in my opinion because I did not see Edge winning coming at all. Bianca, same thing. This year, the field is so stacked. The predictions are just out of this world for this. So honestly, I'm just gonna say it. I don't think Cody Rhodes is winning. Drew McIntyre's not winning. So it leaves the 2 biggest ones out there. CM Punk is not going to win the Royal Rumble, in my opinion. And it's not because of what Christian says. No.
Yeah,
I just think CM Punk has bigger things in store.
Yeah, I was about to say nobody should take who's going to win based off of what someone said they deserve or don't deserve. Because let's WWE, they don't take things based off of you deserve or don't deserve it. It happens.
Exactly.
Continue.
Thank you, brother. So, CM Punk, great to see you back. I think you have something bigger in store for you for WrestleMania. I think, when you came in, I don't think you were promised anything, honestly. Nobody's promised anything in professional wrestling, really, in this business, I guess. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. I'm not in the business, obviously. CM Punk, I think he is going to get something pretty big at WrestleMania. Do I think it'll be a title shot? I don't know. I don't think so. We'll see. I could be wrong, I could be right. But my prediction to win the Royal Rumble of 2024 is going to be the reigning champion Gunther. I think Gunther is going to win the Royal Rumble. Why do I think Gunther will win the Royal Rumble? Well, 1, I think he will probably vacate the Intercontinental Championship. I'll talk about Brock Lesnar in just a sec with Walter. Don't you worry. I'll talk about Brock Lesnar in a sec and what I think he could do.
You just said Walter.
Same person. Walter, Gunther, same person.
No. Walter was fatter.
Wow. Wow. Anyways,
Gunther is the younger, more fit brother.
Fair.
Continue.
I'll talk about the Lean General and the Beast in just a few minutes. Gunther, I think, will probably vacate the Intercontinental Championship. I know you're thinking, vacation? What? Vacate the title? Why? He probably thinks he's done everything. Again, unless Brock Lesnar shows up. If Brock Lesnar does show up, then there'll be Brock Lesnar versus Gunther at WrestleMania. If Brock Lesnar does not show up, which I predict he will, then you could probably do the next best thing, and that is Seth Rollins against Gunther. Why Seth Rollins? Because Seth Rollins is a broken man, legitimately, and in kayfabe. Kayfabe is back. Real life is knee, obviously. Who better to chop down, literally, the broken down champion than the ring general himself and take the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania? I welcome that. As much as CM Punk and Seth Rollins in 2024 does intrigue me, I'm not gonna lie, the promo work they did when Punk came back was pretty good. And they could still do pretty good things, I'm not gonna lie. I think seeing a broken down world champion in Seth Rollins, and him being destroyed, dismantled, picked apart by the ring general in the ring. I wouldn't say a squash match. Don't squash Seth Rollins. I mean, that'd be pretty dominant. But I don't think they'd squash the world champion. They could, but I do think it's going to be a very dominant thing having Gunther, which again, same person, Gunther, whatever, same person. Him walking in there, taking the World Heavyweight Championship, and granted, CM Punk being world champ, I do think it will happen. I do. But I could be wrong about this entire thing. But I do think my prediction to win the Royal Rumble in 2024 is going to be the Lane General Gunther. And what does CM Punk do? I don't know. Maybe he faces Brock Lesnar again. Because they had a pretty good match back in the day. I'm not going to lie. I don't know. Maybe Cody Rhodes. I forget. Cody Rhodes, as for him, he's going to go and face Roman somehow. I don't know. We'll see. But I have the Lane General Gunther to win the Royal Rumble.
All right. Pretty interesting on that. But I'll also ask, Willie, who do you think could be showing up as a potential surprise?
This is where I get creative. Easily. I do think the Royal Rumble will be the host of pretty good returns. I do think Mark Cardona will be showing up. I can't stand Mark Cardona. He's terrible.
What? I honestly didn't understand what you said there.
Matt Cardona.
Oh, Matt Cardona, sorry.
Always ready.
This job herself, Matt Cardona. He's going to show up and get thrown out in 10 seconds. Anyways, one of the more important people, of course, my NXT boys, my boys Mello and B Breaker, I think will be showing up. I better see my boys show up in the Rumble. As for anybody else, maybe an Eddie Thorpe. Maybe a, I don't know. I really don't know, honestly. Baron Corbin, I don't freaking know. I don't know. It would be Lexis King. Maybe some outsiders coming in. I don't know who's going to be showing up, but those are my two picks right now. Braun Breaker and Carmelo Hayes, my boys.
All right.
Because I'm biased.
Just want to make sure I got that in order for that case. Steep, it's your turn. Your turn to assess and predict the men's Royal Rumble match.
As far as who I think could be showing up, when it comes to the men, I really just want. I mean, if there's a return, then that'd be cool. But when it comes to the men, I could just see a lot of those slots being filled by some people in NXT, who were already showcased on the main roster once or twice, or some people who haven't touched the main roster yet. As far as who it comes down to, I have it down to 3 people. I couldn't think of a 4th person, but I have it down between the names of Cody, Punk, and Gunther. And I'm basing that solely off of, events that we've been seeing, especially a big favorite. And I don't want to say an obvious answer, but like someone who I think has a fair shot of winning this would be Cody because of that 2 year of the build with Roman and everything. And considering the fact he's still on this journey to get that, that title that his father never won. And especially if the inevitable does happen where, if Randy were to win in that Fatal 4-Way, I definitely think at that point then Cody is winning because there's a lot more of a story there. But even if it is Roman retaining, then I still will see it as Cody Roman regardless of if he wins it or not. As much as I wouldn't like it, I think Punk is also another obvious answer. So I don't really have a clear-cut winner, but I definitely think it's going to come down to Punk and Cody started the Rumble and Punk and Cody ending the Rumble.
That's actually pretty good. We've had a number of occasions where 1 and 2 were, starting and then ending. Even last year with the women's side, Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan were 1 and 2, and they were the last 2. So, no, can't say it won't happen. There you go on that. All right, Dustin, your turn to assess who could be showing up at the men's Rumble and who are your 4 picks to win.
For who I think is going to show up, obviously some NXT people, like the names were thrown out there, like a Braun Breaker, Mello, Corbin, maybe Eddie Thorpe. I'm actually going to go more different route and more people that I think is less talked about. I was thinking maybe like Ilya Dragunov could show up. We've always had the NXT champion be involved in the Rumbles every once in a while. So why not Ilya Dragunov? Why not a Dijak or hell even a Josh Briggs if he's gonna be managed by JBL. As for who I think my 4 picks would be, obviously, I think it's going to be one of the 4 pretty big names that are more talked about, which are Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, or Gunther. This is me personally, who if I was booking it, who I would want to win, Finn Balor, because of Damian Priest with the whole Money in the Bank that you can cash in on Seth Rollins before Mania. And then they can have the whole Judgment Day implosion thing. Finn Balor faces Damian Priest at WrestleMania for the world title. But that's just me in a perfect world. Who I do honestly think in this world we're living in, who I think is going to win the Rumble, I actually do think Cody is going back-to-back. I think Cody Rhodes is going to be the first guy since Stone Cold Steve Austin to go back-to-back Rumbles and win it. So, and he goes on to face Roman Reigns. Again, he actually wins this time. I hope so. And there you go. There's your match for Mania. Cody and Roman, night 2. Cody wins the Rumble. And Punk, you'll have other plans.
All right. Not bad. For me, I'll be honest, I don't think I'm drawing a blank on who I think could show up. That's part of the reason why I didn't do like a entry prediction. There's just so much talent on the men's roster to the point where I'm like, I don't think they'll have any room for surprises. Maybe 1, 2 at the max, but there's so much talent on the main roster now that they honestly could just fill the Rumble up themselves. And I swear to God, I hope people don't think the Royal Rumble sucks just because there's like, I don't know, 1 and then maybe another surprise entrant, but that's it. Because like, if you're looking at the Royal Rumble match just to want to see a big surprise, then you're honestly looking at it wrong. It's cool to see it, but it ain't the top priority here. And it's not even a top 5 priority. Just saying. So, I really think, honestly, top picks to win, gets my better judgment, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Gunther, Drew McIntyre. They don't have an order for them, actually, because literally any of them could win, and I would be cool with it. That's where I'm at. I don't have an order of which one I think should win the most or who I would want to win the most. Except CM Punk. That's about all I can say on that matter. But, once again, I'm going to ask each of you, Willie, starting with you, what number is going to win the Men's Royal Rumble?
I think number 20... No, not even 20s. I think I'm going to go with number 2. Is going to win the Royal Rumble.
All right. Steve, what number is winning the Royal Rumble?
I think number 1. I think Cody's going to enter first.
All right. Dustin?
I'm with Steve on this one. I think Cody's entering at number 1, and he's winning the entire thing.
For me, 4. I'll just say 4. Nah, I'm just kidding. Nah, I'm not going to go 4. I pick 5. I don't think... Wait, 5 is... No, 4 is the one that hasn't had a winner. 5 has had a winner. Stone Cold, 97. I do remember that because I sinned that event recently. Okay. But, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our predictions to the Royal Rumble this Saturday from Tropicana Field. And as we mentioned before, the entire road to WrestleMania is in stadiums. As you know, Elimination Chamber at Optus Stadium in Perth, Western Australia. And, of course, WrestleMania itself, Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, home of the Eagles, who never made it to the playoffs. Wait, did they make it to the playoffs? I don't fucking remember.
They made the playoffs.
Speak on that.
They made the playoffs, and then they got obliterated by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, I was about to say,
Tampa Bay.
I just don't pay attention to the fucking Eagles.
Thank you, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I appreciate you. Now the Eagles can go off into misery.
Yeah. All right. But anyway, I hope you guys are excited to be on the road to the 40th WrestleMania. WrestleMania 40, this is absolutely incredible. It feels like only yesterday we were heading into WrestleMania 30 with the whole Daniel Bryan thing.
The day before my birthday out, that's all I wanted on that night. I got what I wanted.
Yep.
WrestleMania, which will never be replicated ever again. Ever.
It could.
No, nothing ever will top that, in my opinion.
Whoa, Mania. With Cody Rhodes.
No.
Yes.
Whoa! No, that'll be also be on my birthday, but no.
Yeah, well, wait and see. But yeah, folks, if it had not been for the damn leap year, WrestleMania would be on April 7th and 8th. It would have been Heel Balor's birthday and my birthday. But because we fucking jump a day, it's a leap year. My birthday is on Monday Night Raw after Mania. And I don't have a good feeling after the last couple years were lackluster.
I got a good feeling this time, hopefully.
Yeah. Alright, well, Dustin, I'll start with you. I'll ask how to feel to be back on the podcast to talk the Royal Rumble.
It feels so good to be back on the podcast again. I am honored every time to be back on this podcast. Pretty much every podcast that you guys put out, I've watched every one of them. And it's just great to be back on, like I've said multiple times before, the greatest podcast on YouTube, in my opinion. And it's always a fun time to talk some wrestling with you guys.
Or in Steve's case, the universe. He called it the greatest podcast in the universe. Speaking of, Steve, what's your thoughts being back on the podcast to talk the Royal Rumble?
Oh, dude, I love it. I love getting invited to come back here. It's always a fun time to speak to you guys and speak to everyone else out there. My first podcast was in 2020, and since then, being a guest on here has been an absolute honor.
Yep. And of course, Heel Balor, how does it feel to be the co-host of the Losers Lodge podcast since like 2018? I believe this will be year number 6 for us.
I mean, it's been a pleasure to obviously do what we do, and we're just guys in here having fun talking wrestling, and we don't do this for money, we don't do this for the attention, we just do it because we love it. And we appreciate every single one of you guys who always stick around, just listen to what we do. And, we appreciate our guests who always come in and enjoy what we do as well. And, Roll's getting started. 2024 could be our year. Again.
As it always has been. So, Heel Balor, why don't you go ahead and close us off?
I'm the Heels to Balance. That's Christian Miracle. And that's our guest, Steepy, and our other buddy, Dustin. And we'll see you on the next one, which will be what?
NXT Vengeance Day, I believe.
Vengeance Day. Yeah, next week. Holy shit. All right. See you next week, folks.